So the problem says a rectangle is drawn on a coordinate grid. The equation for one side of the rectangle is 3x minus 2y equals 12, which could be an equation for another side of the rectangle. So if I draw a rectangle, and they tell me that one side of the rectangle has an equation of 3x minus 2y equals 12. So I'm going to take that equation and I'm going to put that in slope-intercept form. Which again, slope-intercept form, remember, is y equals mx plus b. And the reason I'm going to put it in this form is because then I can find out what the slope is. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides, which would give me negative 2y is equal to negative 3x plus 12. And I'm going to divide every term by negative 2. So I get y is equal to a negative divided by a negative is a positive 3/2 x. Positive divided by a negative would give me a negative 6. So this is in slope-intercept form right now, and I can see that the slope is 3/2. So let's say this is the line I'm talking about right here. And that line has a slope of 3/2. So the question says we want to find which of these equations could be another side of the rectangle. Well, let's say I was looking for this side of the rectangle, right? Those two lines in a rectangle have to be parallel. So if that was the other side of the rectangle, parallel lines have the same slope. So this slope would also have to be 3/2. So if I found another equation that had a slope of 3/2, those would be parallel and those could be two sides of a rectangle. If I was looking for another side of the rectangle, so let's say I was looking for either this side or this side or this side, if I was looking for either of those sides, those would have to be perpendicular to that first given side. And perpendicular lines, remember, the slopes are opposite reciprocals. So if I was looking for the slope of this side, it would have to be the opposite, so it would have to be a negative, and then I would have to take the reciprocal of the slope, which means I'm going to flip the numerator and the denominator, so it would be 2/3. So if this is the given side of the equation, or the given side of the rectangle right here, and again that has a slope of 3/2, if I want to find another side of the rectangle, I could find a slope of 3/2, that would be the side that's parallel, or I could find a slope of negative 2/3, and that would be the side that forms the 90-degree angle with that side of the rectangle. So either of these two slopes would work. So that's what I'm looking for. All right, so I've circled the two slopes that are possible, would be possible answers. Negative 2/3 would be perpendicular to the given line, and 3/2 would be parallel to the given line. So if I look at our first equation, which is y equals 3/2 x plus 5, this is already in slope-intercept form. I've got my slope right here, which is 3/2. Is that one of the possible slopes? Yes, it is. This line would be parallel to the given line because they both have the same slope. So A is a possibility. So I always think it's a good idea just to check the other ones, just in case you made a mistake. So let's check that second equation, which is y equals 3x plus 12. This again is already in slope-intercept form, and the slope is 3. Is that one of the givens, or is that a slope that we're looking for? No, it is not. So I know that the answer cannot be B. So we'll go to the third equation, which is y equals negative 3/2 x plus, or excuse me, minus 12. Slope is right here. Slope is negative 3/2 x. Is that a possible slope? Nope. We're looking for negative 2/3 or positive 3/2. So that does not work either. And then our last equation is y equals 2x minus 5. The slope is right here. The slope is equal to 2. So if I look, that is not one of the slopes I'm looking for. So it looks like I did it correctly. The answer is A, because equation A has a slope of 3/2. And the given equation also had a slope of 3/2. And lines that have the same slope are parallel. So the answer is A.